Picture this. You're 17, just about to dive into adulthood. Maybe you're dreaming of becoming a tiler or a landscaper. Life's looking promising, right? But then, in a single moment, your entire future is thrown into chaos by someone else's carelessness. That's exactly what happened to the injured passenger in this very real story. Today, we're diving into how one teenager went from having his whole life ahead of him to fighting for justice and winning $2.9 million in compensation. But first, let's talk about what went down. On October the 8th, our guy, the injured passenger, was in a car, minding his own business when bam, out of nowhere, the negligent driver decided red lights were just a suggestion. The result? A full-on crash. Not just any crash, but a red light, life-changing kind of crash. The impact? Well, let's just say this wasn't a simple bump on the head. Oh no, we're talking about a diffuse axonal injury, one of the worst kinds of brain injuries, a skull fracture and brain bleeding. He also lost 70% of his vision in one eye and spent 33 days in post-traumatic amnesia. To say the least, walking away from this unscathed wasn't an option. Now you might be thinking, surely he's going to get justice, right? You'd think so, but spoiler alert, it wasn't that simple. The injured passenger and his legal team had to fight hard for compensation. Even though the negligent driver admitted fault, things got complicated fast. The courts asked some tough questions. How much of these injuries were really from the crash? And how much of it could be blamed on his pre-existing condition, ADHD? Oh yes, ADHD. You see, before the crash, the injured passenger had some behavioural issues, and now there were debates about whether those issues were making things worse. So, was it the crash or was it his ADHD playing a role? And to make things even more complicated, the insurance company came armed with Facebook and surveillance evidence to try and prove he was still able to maintain some level of a normal social life. But here's the twist. The court wasn't buying it. Just because someone posts on social media doesn't mean everything's okay, right? Thankfully, medical experts came through with solid evidence. Dr. Kardassi confirmed brain trauma with a SPECT scan, Dr. Burke called the injuries severe diffuse axonal injury, and Dr. Collins, a neuropsychologist, showed a significant decline in the injured passenger's IQ post-crash. His memory, decision-making and behaviour. Let's just say they weren't what they used to be. Despite the insurance company's best efforts to downplay it, the court sided with the injured passenger. They acknowledged that this young man had suffered immense life-altering injuries, and the payout, $2.9 million. Yep, that's the final number. Let's break it down. General damages for the pain and suffering, over $235,000. Loss of future earnings? That came to $1.6 million. And of course, the court factored in long-term care, awarding compensation to ensure he would be looked after. But here's where the legal twist comes in. The court applied something called the Malek v.J.C. Hutton principle. It's a way of considering what might have happened in the future if things had gone differently. They factored in his pre-existing ADHD, acknowledging that while it might have impacted his future, the crash was the main event that wrecked his life. So, while they made some deductions, the bulk of the blame and the compensation came from the accident itself. And here's something you might not expect. This case, it didn't just end with a payout. It's become a landmark case, setting the standard for future brain injury claims in Western Australia. This judgment now guides similar cases, especially those involving pre-existing conditions. So, in the end, this isn't just a story about one person getting justice. It's a precedent that continues to shape the way brain injury claims are handled in the courts today. What's the takeaway? If you're ever in an accident, you better get the right legal help. And fast. The injured passenger got what he deserved because he didn't back down. Insurance companies might try to throw distractions at you, but with the right team and medical evidence, you can fight for what's yours. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like this in Western Australia, you know exactly who to call. Remember, this isn't just a story, it's a real case, real life, real consequences.